Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I am doing a book review, and I am reviewing The Novice by Tara Matharu. If you saw the video where I had the haul of this, I stated that I went to Barnes & Noble to purchase another book, and I think I went to purchase An Ember in the Ashes, and I saw this, and I'm always a sucker for a book with a man with a hood on the cover, a hooded man on the cover, and I saw it and I wanted to pick it up, but I chose not to because that's not why I was going there that day. And then I listened to a few Book Riot podcasts and catching up on my backlog of podcasts that I needed to listen to, and they gave the synopsis of this, and I said, okay, that sounds really interesting. And then they talked about the author and how long he'd been writing, how he started writing when he was 9 years old, and then started uploading some of his stories to Wattpad. And as a result of that, he was picked up to write a novel, and that intrigued me even more so than the story. And then when I went to look the book up on Goodreads, I saw that it was the book that I passed over when I went to get An Ember in the Ashes. I'm going to read the synopsis because I don't want to accidentally give away information. Fletcher is working as a blacksmith's apprentice when he discovers he has the rare ability to summon demons from another world. Subsequently chased from his village for a crime he did not commit, Fletcher must travel with his demon Ignatius to an academy for adepts, where the gifted are taught the art of summoning. Along with nobles and commoners, Fletcher endures grueling lessons that will prepare him to serve as a battle mage in the Empire's war against the savage orcs. But sinister forces infect new friendships, and rivalries are formed at this school. With no one but Ignatius by his side, Fletcher must decide where his loyalties lie, as he soon learns the fate of the Empire is in his hands. So, starting with the world building that takes place in this novel, I absolutely loved it. But the landscape that is provided as you're reading the novel and figuring out where he is, where Fletcher is, where he's going, how things are affecting or impacting the area that he is in, all of that that's provided is greatly described, and it's not described in a way that seems too much detail or too wordy. It fits very well. One of the big things that are talked about in the novel or put forth in the novel is the idea and facts of classism, that there are the nobles, and then there are the commoners, and then there are the other species / races of individuals, and none of them are up to par with the nobles' idea and thoughts of themselves. That surrounds a lot of the conceptions that the people have of each other, and it's told from Fletcher's point of view. So it's a good thing that you're getting the descriptions of this from the perspective of somebody who would be in the middle of the spectrum between what is thought to be the high class and highbrow to those who are considered to be very lowbrow and subhuman. I immediately liked Fletcher. It's not anything that's done blatantly. It's not that he's put forth as this super virtuous character. It's just him coming in as who he is, who he's come to be at the point where we're meeting him in this novel. And the things that you don't like about him are not things that completely ruin his personality or ruin your perspective of who he is. It's just part of that growing up situation. This is a young adult fantasy novel. There are a lot of things that go into it, not just with Fletcher's character, but with the other characters in the story as well. The other characters that are in the story are presented very well. I like the other characters in the novel as well, the other good characters. The characters that are bad, that you don't like them for a reason. They are just idiots and jerks, and the things that they say and they do, they can be very underhanded, they can be very mean. As Fletcher grows into what he can do and his friendships grow, there are so many things that that develop within Fletcher as well as within his friends, the character development that takes place from the beginning to the end, awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed this novel. Like, I'm ready for book 2 right now. I am so happy that I got in on the front end of this. This will be, no joke, the first series that I have read and will be starting to read from the beginning. And I gave this book 4 stars only because he has to have somewhere to go. It's a 5-star book. If it was a standalone novel, I would have given it 5 stars. It's written that well. The story is that enjoyable. The characters are that good. The world building is that spectacular. It is a 5-star book, but this is book 1, and so if book 1 is this good, he deserves some room to grow so that when book 2 comes out, and if that's also a 5-star book, it's not just 5 stars across the board. Because I do think that when people see novels like that or series like that where every book is a 5-star book, that there are some people who look at that and say, I don't know if it can all be as good as they're saying it is. And I want the opportunity to be able to rate this on a scale where there is room to grow. I will say this novel deserves more hype than it's getting. I have only heard about this through Book Riot. I haven't seen anyone else haul it. There are other reviews of it on Goodreads, but I haven't seen it on the YouTube, on the Booktuberverse. It deserves more hype than it's getting. This is a novel that, had it been hyped up like An Ember in the Ashes or like any of the other YA series, trilogies, whatever that's put out there, this is fully deserving of all of the hype. Had I picked this up on a Saturday where I didn't have anything to do, or a Sunday afternoon, this would have been a one-sitting novel. I read almost half of the book the first night that I started reading it. This would have been a one-sitting novel. It starts and you don't want it to stop, and the story is continuous. The only issue that I did have with the novel is sometimes as you are going through it, there's times when there's chunks of time that have gone from one chapter to the next, and you don't know until, and it says it within like the first 2 or 3 paragraphs, sometimes the first 2 or 3 sentences of the following chapter. But I think just for me in my head, it would have made me feel a little better, or put me closer into that mindset of, 10 weeks have passed, and that's an exaggeration, but if I had known that at the start of the chapters don't have titles, which isn't a bad thing, but there's also no way of knowing how much time has passed between chapter 2 and chapter 3 until after you start chapter 3, and then you have to do a little thinking back, or I did a little thinking back just to put myself in that mind frame of, okay, well, we started this in February and now it's April, and it's the middle of April, and what that means for what could be coming up. And again, it's not a bad thing, but just for my own reading preferences, I would have liked to have had that knowledge ahead of time, or at the start of the chapter, that it was 2 months later, 3 weeks later, 2 days later, just to be able to put my mind in that time frame before I started reading the next chapter. That is the only issue that I have with this book. That's saying a lot. I have no idea when book 2 is coming out. When book 2 comes out, I will be getting it because it was that awesome. And I hate to do this. I'm sorry, Mr. Matharu, Taran, however you would like to be referred. I'm sorry. I hate to say this because I really don't like it when people do this, but if you enjoyed the Harry Potter series from start to finish, this has the potential to be that good. It's all, in my opinion, it's already that good. If you liked Harry Potter and like the YA that is Harry Potter, not that you're looking for an adult contemporary to the Harry Potter series, whatever. If you liked Harry Potter and the YA element and the development that took place with the characters and the storyline and all, this is what you need to get on next. if you want your kids to have involvement or to start a series at the age where they are, that's new while they're at that age, that can be that good and that they can get that engrossed in, this is where you want to start. This was awesome. That's all that I have to say about that. A very gushing review. Yeah. So you all have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.